Hello everybody, my name is Brodie Gouzet, as you can see from my title up here, and this is my blog, Life in Australia in 2-minute Soundbites. It's made in WordPress, and I have been doing this now for a few weeks, and I record them every single day. It takes me an hour to write, record, edit, upload, and get my website working every single day, and you can see I've got episodes that go on from previous days, but this is today's, Shedding Rivers of Tears. And this bar here, this sound bar, shows that this is there is an audio track here to play. Now, why do I do Life in Australia in 2-minute soundbites? Well, I've been in the radio space, community radio space, for a very long time. But more importantly, I want to be able to share my stories and my ideas with the rest of the world. What I don't want to do is ramble on and on and on and bore people to death. So I've made the decision to be able to tell my tales in 2 minutes. And I am hoping that with this video I'll be able to start a whole new movement where people will do exactly what I'm doing and record life and their ideas and stories and things they want to talk about in 2 minutes from all over the world. And if you do that and you let me know, then I will be only too happy to follow you so that I can listen to people from all over the world tell their story about the way that they live. It makes sense because it's such a short period of time that you're asking people to commit to. Because I send it out every day, they get a little email or a ping, and it says, such is life has now been uploaded, would you like to listen to it? And they choose yes or no. And that's how I'm hoping to build my audience. So how do I do this? Well, the great thing about it is that everything that I'm going to show you today in terms of software is free. You will need a computer, which clearly you've already got, or some sort of device. You need to be able to record, and for that you need a decent microphone. And I have a good condenser microphone, which is what I'm recorded on today. Then you're going to need some sort of scripting program. I use Word, as you can see here. You're going to need a recording program, and I use Audacity, and there it is there. I'll come back to these in a minute. And then you're going to need to be able to load it up to a blog, and here I use WordPress.com, and that too is free. So how does the whole process work? Well, I get up in the morning, as it so happens for me, and I will write my 2 minutes. I choose to do that because I don't want to waste anyone's time, and I want to get the story nice and tight, whatever it might be. I have word count here, and this morning's episode was 277 words. I keep it under 300 words so that there is time for a little piece of intro music, a little bit of outro music, and enough space in the middle to be able to get my story told. So the first thing I do is I write that, and then I save that so that that's put to one side. Then I go to Audacity. I'll open Audacity. This is not going to be a lecture or a training session on how to use Audacity. There's plenty of videos out there that will teach you how to use it. So suffice to say, in the process that I use this for, I will now record. As you can see, that's already recording my voice. I then go to my Word document, open my Word document, and then I will start to record. And it'll go something like this. Welcome. Today we expect to have that first real springy day rather than the false starts that cough and splatter early in the season. The weeping cherry outside my studio is in Blum. Mistake. Not in Blum at all. So what would I do? I then pause. I know I've made a mistake. So I pause, which will leave me a nice big space on my recording track that lets me know that I've made that mistake when I go back to edit. So I'll pause, and I'll pick it up at a point that suits me. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of that line. The weeping cherry outside my studio is in bloom. The hanging blue flower thingy, with its great pendulous blooms, that look like Wedgwood Pinot grapes is about to explode over the portico, a cascade of perfume. And I mowed the lawn yesterday. And so it would go on. Now when I come back, when I finish my read, I go back to Audacity and you can see that it's still recording. And I will then stop talking and just let it be silent for about 4 seconds. And I hit the space bar then in order to stop it. Now you can see here that there is just the slightest bit of apparent noise. And this is background noise in my studio or in my office. It's not really a sound studio, this is just an ordinary little home office. And I have a little bit of background sound that is constant. So how do I get rid of that? Because I'll only need to do this once during for each pod. So it's a podcast, it's the same process each time. So I save this little bit at the end and I mark it. I go to Effect and I go to Noise Removal and I click on Get Noise Profile. What that does is that it looks for this particular subset of noise and I'm going to remove that from my whole recording. I then double click it so that the whole thing's marked, go back into Effects, go into Noise Removal again, and then click on OK. I've already got the noise profile, and it will take that noise out of my recording, and you'll see there that that line went from a sort of fuzzy line now to a clear line. This tells me that that noise has now been removed. So my voice is now a lot cleaner. The next thing that I need to do while it is still double clicked and marked all over is to go in and click compressor. I use a standard compressor element that comes with the software and I click OK and you will see that it will expand these, it will compress or open up my my speech pattern so that it is properly balanced through my voiceover track. So I've now recorded it. I then would then go through and play it, look for bits that I don't like, and where there's a big long gap, so we're probably along here somewhere, we'll see that there is a long gap. There is a big long gap, which is where I changed. So I can now get rid of that and go to that point, and then this will now go into a nice clean context in terms of the way that the script is supposed to be. You can see these gaps here. They've got 47 to 48. That's about 1 second. Just take a little bit out of all of those if you've got those pauses and keep them down to about 3/4 of a second, and that's all that you're going to need. Once I've done that, I then save it, which will save all my data, and I then will export that, and it will export as to whatever I've called the file. So if this was your first one, it would be episode 1. So you've now got an MP3 copy of your file. Just to show you what mine does look like before I go to export, here is my voice track at the top. I have got a little soundtrack here and a little closed track there. I use those as a constant, and that allows me to come out of the music and go into my read, and then out of my read into the music for my close. And as you can see, it's 2 minutes long. So I now have a mixed down voiceover with my music track, and I've exported it to MP3, and then that's all put to us and I don't need that anymore, and I don't need my script anymore. So now what do I need to do? I now need to go to my web page, which is WordPress. You can see here it's bgouze.wordpress.com, and I then go to my dashboard and I look at my blogs, and because I may have several blogs, but in this actual instance I go to all posts, and then I would add a new one, and then it will allow me, put me into the space so I can actually create a new page. There we go. So I'm going to add a new post. So I'll put in a title here, And down the bottom here, I might write a few words. So I'll put in test. Have a lovely day. And I will have put my soundtrack into Dropbox. If you know about Dropbox, you need to go into Dropbox, which is up here. You'll have your own Dropbox. That's free as well. In your public space, I then store my soundtrack in that public space, and then when I click on it, so this is number 14. I beg your pardon, sorry, didn't mean to do that. I right-click on it, number 14, and it says copy public link, and this gives me my public link, which I'm going to paste into my my blog site. I'll copy that. Do not use the shortened one. I now go back into my website, and that, as you can see, that it's already there, but I'll just Control V, and there you go, it's in there again. So I can now preview this, and it will show up my page as it's going to be when it's actually finally published. So Life in Australia 2 minutes training, that's what I call it. Have a lovely day. And if I click on here, it will then play that audio soundtrack, which is exactly what it would do when it's finally published. So I then want to get rid of that, and I will now need to put in on this side my categories. I use Australia, podcast, travel, and uncategorized. Podcast, if you want to keep it to podcast, keeps the best thing. Really is the only one you really need. And then down here you add the tags, and in my tags I've got Oz, Australian lifestyle, Australian politics, podcast and travel. So that gives me the areas that will tag my particular site. And now I would then go and press, when I'm happy with that, I will then preview again. It'll make sure that it's uncategorized, which is fine. It's exactly what I wanted it to be in this particular instance. And then I get rid of it, and I come back here and I publish. I press publish, and then the thing's completed. As you were, I'm sorry. Then the thing will be completed. So that's literally all you have to do. Now, all right, you do have to go and learn how to use Audacity, but believe me, it's very, very easy. There's lots of training in YouTube. That's all you need to know. You also need to know how to set up a web page in WordPress. But there's plenty of videos, plenty of training, all free, that will explain how you can do that. So you've got a place to put it, and then all you've got to do is be able to write that 2 minute. So I put it to you, putting it out to the world. I hope that someone who reads this says, I'm going to give this a go, and I'm going to have my 2 minute recording that I'm going to share with the world. And preferably, if you can, do it daily. It doesn't have to be, of course, you can do it anytime you like. But in terms of getting an audience, I'm trying to start this whole new movement where we can listen to the exciting stories that people have got to tell, all in 2 minute bites. So that's all from me. I hope you enjoyed it, and look out for my pod site, which is bgwozze.wordpress.com. You can see it up there. And if you follow me, then it'll click on every time I've produced a web page, a new posting. It will click and let you know. So from me, in Australia, this is Brady Guzay. Have a great day. Catch you soon. Bye now.